Our roundtable discussion at the National Farm Machinery Show is brought to you by AgriEdge Excelsior from Syngenta and by Kubota Hay Tools. Forage forward.
Welcome back to U.S. Farm Report. Again, we're at the National Farm Machinery Show in Louisville, Kentucky. All right, we have so many viewers out there trying to navigate through the Farm Bill, decide which program they're going to choose, try to predict price through 2018. I'm not going to ask any of you to predict the price, but going through 2018, are you more bearish or are you more bullish? And I guess I'll start with the bear.
I'm going to surprise everybody. I think the bottom will be in by fall of 2016. I think we'll be through. I don't think this is going to be a 1979 to 1987 multi-year bear market. I think too many dynamics on the demand side are too bullish. So I think this is a we'll get through the early and the latter part, 16 and 17, feed use will be increasing, and I think there'll be a positive move. So I would say by 18 we'll be in much stronger prices than we're going to be in the next 2 years.
Matt, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think, whenever you try to make this decision on the Farm Bill, one thing I like to really look at closely, Farm Doc from the University of Illinois, they do phenomenal work looking at things like this. And, I've been on plenty of panels with Gary Schnitke from the University of Illinois. He helped write the Farm Bill. And so I would definitely say, look at that if you don't know exactly what you want to do. I'm of the opinion, probably like Bob, I'm going to be going Ark County on both corn and beans, and I think that, bottom line is I don't see us staying in such a bear market that throughout the Farm Bill, it's going to be the best thing to do to go PLC. Definitely Ark County, in my opinion, on beans. I could see maybe putting a farm or two in PLC on corn because, it might be a little bit of a wash, but I'm probably 90% Ark County.
Well, they're in agreement. What about you, Mike?
On my ground, Ark County as well. Bottom line is, as we look at that next 3 years, the reality is we've built a big supply. So if we talk supply side fundamentals and what the indicators are in terms of price, I agree with Bob in that we're going to be soft here for the next couple of years, going out into next year, quite likely. The big question will be as we come through that, if we start to shorten supply, what are the economic factors that are out in front of us? The reality is, we can talk fundamentals all we want and what things look like at a production level. If we're seeing Europe going in, from bad to worse, and we're looking at really softer economics coming out of China, that's going to cause problems for us even still. And so, provided that we don't see any sort of change economically for the worse, I would say we start to improve as we go towards 2018 out of those 16 lows.
Bob, looking at those macroeconomics, that's really your specialty. So what's your view?
I think that, I'm most worried about the imbalance of the federal deficits, and we have a lot of people domestically that are getting retirement age, are going to be more demanding services from a government. We've seen this in China. Look at their multi-generations. They're having economic slowdown since the mid-'80s, and they just can't get out of this doldrum. And how do we have the economic growth when right now we're not seeing the policies come out of Washington that stimulate people to take risk? And so I would like to see a taxation policy aimed towards stimulating growth and regulations that don't disincentive producers. And I don't see that. And until we get that, I think it's going to be economic activity is going to be slow, and that's going to be the negative. As I think completely agree with you. China and Europe it can't get any worse.
We're going to switch gears just a little bit real quick because we only have about a minute left and I need to hit on cattle and dairy. But West Coast port issues going on, putting pressure on some of the cattle prices because we're seeing that meat stake here in the U.S. Don't see that being resolved anytime soon. So are we looking at more bearish factors on those prices?
Well, you certainly can make that, but obviously if you are in the cattle business, you know that the cash market has not been following the board 100%. And so, one thing that I want to hang my hat on is there's been times where we've seen $10 to $12 more out in the cash market than what we're seeing on the board. So yes, I do see a little bit of weakness, but I do think that the cattle producers are doing well and will keep doing well for some time.
Mike, not much time, but Class 3 March milk prices, when we look at that, recently rebounded. Are we going to continue to see that strength?
It's going to be really tough because like we've talked about on the grain side, we struggle with some of these bigger macro headwinds. We've got a really high dollar, and that's making it tough for us to export. Not to mention our products are very overpriced relative to the world market. So until we bring those into balance, we're probably looking at softer prices, and the recent rally that's been through the entire spring months is a good one to capture.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Well, we talked about so much, so we want to break it down. What do you need to think about right now? We're going to get their opinion when we come back on U.S. Farm Report.